So I wanted to share an analogy I have for dating. So our clients will often tell us that they show up to dates, whether they've met someone online or whether they're within an agency or through a friend, and they will say, "Oh yeah, I just showed up as me." And you'll start to hear them tell the story about the way they were on the date and how uncomfortable it was and how this person was a bit strange and they ate a bit of a weird way and they didn't open the door. So they'll tell you a lot of things about how the other person is being, but rarely do people reflect on the state of mind that they're showing up to the date in. So here's my analogy. I hope it works. I might not have to actually do this, but when we're showing up to dates, we think we're just naturally ourselves, and the reason why, people are usually showing up to dates is they want a connection with another human being. I don't know if this is crinkling here. So my analogy for that is it's like when you moisturize your hands, your hands get warm and silky and soft, and it feels very connected. It's very human. It feels lovely, and you feel different for it. It's really lovely feeling. So they're showing up to dates, and so they might show up to the first date and they're like, "Oh, no, I'm totally myself." And so just use a very generic brand of sort of everyday cream for their hands. So if the date is a moisturizer, a hand moisturizer, they're going to put some on and they're going to rub it in and be like, "Yeah, I showed up to that date and it was all right, but I didn't feel anything, and it just wasn't very fun." And I'm like, Okay, so you were showing up as yourself. What did you do then? It's like, "Oh, well, wrong kind of guy. I think the guy that I went to date, they work in finance, and I don't think guys in finance are very easily." I'm just giving an example. It might be something else. Writers, I don't know. Whatever your experience has been, where you thought, "Well, that wasn't very connected," it was something to do with them. And so then they'll go, "Okay, well, I'm going to try a different kind. I'm going to get more specific and spend a little bit more money on, and be a bit more like higher end about this. So I'm gonna get a really nice bottle of lotion that's, it's handmade and it's all organic ingredients, and this is definitely going to do it for me. So I can get this out, and it smells good, but my hands are just not. I just don't feel connected. It's super weird. I don't know. I went and it was a nicer restaurant, and the guy, he's a really good caliber date, but it's weird, I didn't feel connected. And so I'm like, "Well, where did you go then?" And they're like, "Well, I hadn't been specific enough. And I think I just wasn't really I think if I don't date anyone from these industries, and maybe they just need to be like in this kind of industry, and they've got to be the same star sign as me. And I think they have to, maybe you're thinking about kind of, what kind of lifestyle they have." So then you think, "Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I've got to go for the really fancy product, because that is going to help me feel connected." So you go off and you spend your $300, dollars on your cream. Maybe it's an eye cream that you're going to use in your hands, but you're thinking, "I haven't spent enough money, so I got to get the right formula. It's just not the right cream." And so I'm going to, okay, this is I don't know what, £50 for a little bit here. And then smells good. I'm really optimistic this time. And then as you're rubbing in this cream, you're like, "God, I totally should be doing it this time. It's super weird. I'm just not feeling really connected. It doesn't feel meaningful to me. I was so sure that if I spent that amount of money and got that specific with the kind of person, it should make me feel amazing." And the thing is that you can probably see it's impossible to connect when we have a lot on our mind. It's basically a blocker from feeling really connected to everything around you. And my experience of working with people is that they're showing up with more on their mind than they're realizing. And these thoughts, the thinking that they're showing up with, is represented in the gloves. This is thought right here. So when you take the thinking away and you have just your hands, your ability to connect is so much richer and deeper. And what that allows you to do is kind of step back and allow for connection without having to try so hard. And I just wanted you to consider, are you showing up with gloves on? Do you really, really, really feel just like you? Because if you have any layer of thought that's kind of distracting, or whether it's worry, or do they like me, or what are they thinking about, all of those thoughts create a pair of gloves that make it harder to connect.